Before I start this video, I would just like to wish Damar Hamlin and his family my best wishes that I possibly can. I hope you get better, man. Alright, week 18. This will be the final week of Sam vs. Madden. Me and Madden had the same record last week, and those are our current records. Alright, our first game is a Saturday game between the Chiefs and the Raiders. And the Raiders have nothing to play for, so I think the Chiefs are going to win this one pretty easily, 27-24. I think the Raiders might make it close, so perhaps it won't be easy, but I do think the Chiefs will win. But I could see it being close, that's why I said the score that I did. But as right now, the Chiefs are dominating this game right now, as they are up 42-17. See if the Raiders can somehow fight their way back, as right now they're doing just that, as they're making a one-score game, but ultimately it won't matter, as the Chiefs will still win 42-37. Man, Raiders gave them a scare there at the end, but ultimately they were able to hang on for victory, so it's good for the Chiefs. They want to get as high of a seed as possible, and winning would help with that. As passing the ball, Mahomes did his usual thing, pretty solid day. I don't know why Derek Carr is starting. He's literally not even starting. Jarrett Stidham should be starting. But I guess it didn't really matter because the Chiefs still won, so regardless of who was started, I would have still thought the Chiefs would win. As we'll look at the rushing stats there and the receiving stats here, as my goodness, there were 7 touchdowns scored in this game, all just from receiving. A lot of touchdowns in that department. Alright, our final Saturday game is between the Titans and the Jags. This game will decide who wins the AFC South, and I think it will be the Jags. I think they will win 24-14. I think they have way more momentum than the Titans, because the Titans are currently on a 5-game losing streak, and the Jags are on I think it's a 4-game winning streak. I'm not sure, but the point is they have way more momentum than the Titans do. But right now, Titans took the lead by 1. Jags are able to score the touchdown, and that will ultimately decide the game, as the Jags win this one 38-31. As the Titans tried, but having Joshua Dobbs as your quarterback is going to limit you. As passing, Trevor Lawrence had a really good day. No picks, 3 touchdowns. As Josh Dobbs, I mean, he had an alright day. I mean, considering the fact that he's not a starter, and he did that, that's pretty solid. As rushing, oh my gosh, there are a lot of rushing touchdowns. As Hassan Haskins and Derrick Henry had over 100 rushing yards, and somehow they still lost. As receiving, Christian Kirk had a really good day, and Traylon Burks behind him, and Robert Woods behind him. And Zay Jones, Traylon Burks, and Christian Kirk also all had touchdowns. Anyway, our next game is between the Browns and the Steelers, and I have the Steelers winning this game 13-6, because they've been winning games like super low scoring. Plus, the Browns pretty much have nothing to play for, because they don't even have their first-round pick. So, really, the Steelers are the only team here that has something to play for, because if they have to win this game in order to stay alive for the playoffs, because if they lose this game, they will be eliminated from playoff contention. As right now, the Browns are about to eliminate the Steelers from playoff contention, and that they will, as Mike Tomlin suffers his first losing season of his coaching career, as Deshaun Watson is able to get Browns the W 32-17. As passing the ball, Kenny Pickett, he had a pick, so that's not great. But other than that, he was okay. But Deshaun Watson had a solid day. He didn't have any picks, and he had 2 touchdowns. Rushing the ball, Nick Chubb and Najee Harris both had solid days, but other than that, no one really did anything. As receiving, Steven Sims, Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and George Pickens all had a touchdown. David Bell, Deontay Johnson, and Steven Sims led everyone in receiving yards. Alright, from one AFC North clash to another, we go to the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, and I have the Bengals winning this game 24-17. Let's see what Madden thinks. So this game also, it decides who wins the AFC North, because if the Bengals win, they would have a better record. But if the Ravens win, since they already beat the Bengals, they would have a tiebreaker if they were to win this game. So we'll see what happens here. As right now, it's tied up 24-24, but the Ravens able to kick a field goal and win off of the foot of Justin Tucker, as the Ravens win this one 27-24, and they take the North with them. As for some reason, Lamar Jackson was starting this game. I don't even think he's going to be playing. I think he's still hurt. I honestly am not sure. He could play, but I don't think he will. As rushing the ball, Lamar had a good day. J.K. Dobbins had a good day as well, as Joe Mixon and Lamar had rushing touchdowns. Receiving, Sammy Watkins, T. Higgins, Mark Andrews, and Tyler Boyd all had receiving touchdowns, as Damar had a really good day, as did Sammy Watkins. Taylor Boyd not too shabby himself. Alright, for an NFC North clash, we have between the Vikings and the Bears, and despite these teams' records, I could see either one happening. I do think the Vikings will win 31-28, but, literally both of these teams, it's the Vikings are 12-4, but they are literally one of the sloppiest 12-4 teams I've ever seen. But the Bears, they're 3-13, and despite being 3-13, they fight. They've fought in a lot of their games, but in this game, it was all Vikings, as they take this one 34-17. I don't think they can get the first. I don't think they can get a first round bye, but it actually does help the Bears if they lose this, because if the Bears lose and the Texans win, that would mean the Bears get the first overall pick, and I'm sure that's what Bears fans really care about. As passing, Justin Fields had 2 picks, as did Kirk Cousins. No one really had a great day passing. Rushing, Dalvin Cook had 2 rushing touchdowns. David Montgomery had 1. Dalvin Cook led everyone with 84 rushing yards. And receiving, Chase Claypool, Justin Jefferson, and KJ Osborne all had touchdowns. Chase Claypool, Justin Jefferson, and KJ Osborne leading everyone in receiving yards. So anyway, we will go into our next game, Patriots and the Bills. And the first time these two teams played, the Bills won, and I expect that to happen again, as I think that the Bills will win this game 35-24. Let's see what Madden thinks will happen. I just don't think the Patriots have the talent to beat the Bills. I mean, I really just don't see how they could beat the Bills, just because the Bills, they've really been like a dominant team this year, and very few teams have been able to beat them. As right now, it looks like the Bills will continue their winning streak by defeating the Patriots 30-20. And Josh Allen celebrating that win. As passing the ball, Josh Allen, he actually didn't have a great day. He had no touchdowns and a pick, as Mac Jones had 2 touchdowns and 1 pick, so he didn't have a great day either. As rushing the ball, Devin Singletary and Josh Allen had solid days for their respective positions, because 47 rushing yards is pretty good for a quarterback, and 73 is solid for a running back too. As receiving, Tucker Addington and Devontae Parker had touchdowns, and Stephon Diggs led everyone in receiving yards. Alright, our next game is going to be between the Jets and the Dolphins. The Dolphins need to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. But I do not think that's going to happen. I think the Jets are going to win 17-14, because Tua might not play in this game. And if Tua's not playing in this game, I don't think the Dolphins stand a chance. I mean, if he does play, they'll have a chance, but I don't think that he will. As right now, the Jets are dominating this game. The Jets won the first matchup, so if they actually do win this game, which it looks like they will according to Madden, they will have swept the Dolphins as they win this one 31-10. And it looks like Tua played in the game, so I guess they were able to beat them even if Tua was starting. Now, if Tua is starting, I don't think this is what would happen, but I don't think they're going to start him because he's banged up. And if they do make the playoffs, they want to make sure that he's, good to go. But, yeah, the Dolphins, looks like they are eliminated from playoff contention if this happens because they don't hold the 7th seed as of right now. And they would also need the Patriots to lose if they were to win this game. But unfortunately for them, they were unable to do that. Alright, our next game is between the Bucs and the Falcons. And if I'm gonna be honest, this game literally doesn't matter because the Bucs have already clinched the 4 seed. I do think they will win 24-21, but yeah, this game really doesn't matter at all because the Bucs have already clinched the NFC South and they can't really get any higher seeding by winning this game, so this game pretty much doesn't matter. The only thing it really matters for is draft picks, so if anything, the Falcons probably don't want to win this game, but as currently they are, as they're just screwing themselves over in the long run. Like, you don't want to win games when it doesn't matter because you're just giving yourself a worse draft pick. But that's exactly what they did, is they win 36-26. As we look at the stats here, passing the ball, Desmond Ridder had a very good game. He probably the best game of his career, if I'm being honest. As Tom Brady, he didn't do so good. He had 2 picks, and those 3 touchdowns, a lot of them were in garbage time because the Falcons pretty much already had the game sealed up and they just kind of let Tom Brady pad stats. As receiving, Julio Jones, Scotty Miller, Michael Pruitt, Drake London, and Anthony Ferguson and Russell Gage all had receiving touchdowns. As for receiving yards, Olamide Zaccheaus, Anthony Ferguson, Cameron Brate, and Drake London all led the pack in receiving yards. Alright, our next NFC South matchup is between the Panthers and the Saints, and once again, this game doesn't matter either except for the first round pick for the Panthers. I think the Saints will win 24-20. By the way, the Saints don't have a first round pick this year. It's to the Eagles. So, yeah, I think the Saints have a better, slightly more momentum than the Panthers, and that's why I think they'll win this game. Not that it'll matter, because both teams are eliminated from playoff contention, and this game won't matter, but the Saints seem to think otherwise as they win this game pretty dominantly, 31-15. So they still came to play, even though they didn't really have anything to play for, so I guess credit to them. As passing the ball, Andy Dalton actually had a really good day. 211, 2 passing touchdowns, no picks. Sam Darnold, on the other hand, he had a passing touchdown. He did have a pick. That probably killed the Panthers. As rushing, Alvin Kamara and Giovanni Ricci both had rushing touchdowns. Alvin Kamara led everyone in receiving. Behind him was David Johnson and Dante Foreman. As receiving, Rashid Shaheed, David Johnson, Laviska Shenault Jr. all had receiving touchdowns, as Chris Olave, Laviska Shenault, and Terrace Marshall Jr. all led in receiving yards. Alright, our first AFC South, or actually never mind, this is our second AFC South matchup. It's between the Texans and the Colts, and I have the Colts winning 13-10. As once again, this is another game where the outcome really doesn't affect anyone except for the 2 teams' draft picks. It's the only thing that's at stake for this game. So whoever wins this game pretty much loses because they get a worse draft pick. As right now, the Texans are winning by 8, even though they probably shouldn't be, as they hang on and win this game 24-16. And if the Texans win, and the Bears lose, the Bears would get the first overall pick and the Texans would get the second overall pick, but the Texans don't seem to care. They just care about winning. And that's a dangerous thing to feel when your season is over and you want to win games for pride, but really it just hurts your team in the long run because you get a worse draft pick. As rushing, Jonathan Taylor had an okay game. He had a rushing touchdown with 85 rushing yards. Dameon Pierce behind him. Receiving, Chris Moore, Brandon Cooks, and O.J. Howard all had receiving touchdowns. As Brandon Cooks, Malali Cox, and Michael Pittman Jr. all led everyone in receiving yards. Alright, our first NFC West matchup is between the Cardinals and the 49ers. And I have the 49ers winning this game 35-17. They still have a first round bye to try to play for, so they're definitely going to bring their A game. As the Cardinals, they have absolutely nothing to play for except for draft pick. So really, they probably just checked out after Kyler suffered a torn ACL, so they're probably not going to be having too much fight, as it looks like they will make it close, but the score was honestly closer in the game, as the 49ers pretty much had this locked up, as they win 23-16 and get a potential first round bye if things go their way. As we'll look at the stats here, Brock Purdy had 295 yards with 1 touchdown, no picks. And Colt McCoy, he actually had an okay game. He had 263 yards with a touchdown, no picks. So, I mean, you didn't throw picks. I don't think that's a bad game. As rushing, Christian McCaffrey led everyone in rushing yards. Behind him was James Conner. And receiving, oh my goodness, Deebo Samuel had a really good game. 186 receiving yards. Behind him, AJ Green and Marquise Brown. But yeah, oh my gosh, Deebo Samuel's a monster in that game. Alright, our next game is between the Cowboys and the Commanders. And I have the Cowboys winning this game 31-24 because they're also trying to play for not only the first round bye, but the NFC East. And they would have to win this game to get either one. As right now, the Commanders are dominating this game right now. Bit of a surprise if you are the Cowboys, and not in a good way, as looks like the Commanders, who are eliminated from playoff contention, are able to win this game 28-17, and this will officially clinch the NFC East for the Eagles. And yeah, that's not really a great sight to see if you're a Cowboys fan. I mean, you're still in the playoffs, but you definitely don't want to play a game like this before the playoffs start. As rushing, look at the ball, look at the rushing touchdowns between John Bates and Brian Robinson Jr. Rushing yards, no one really did anything. As receiving touchdowns, Curtis Samuel, Noah Brown, Ezekiel Elliott, and that Jahan Dotson all had receiving touchdowns. Alright, our second NFC West matchup is between the Rams and the Seahawks. And the Seahawks have to win this game to stay alive. I think they will 24-21. And they would also need the Packers to lose in order for them to make the playoffs. So right now, if the Seahawks win this game, this would eliminate the Lions from playoff contention because they beat the Lions earlier this year. Right now, the Rams are winning, but the Seahawks are trying to come back, and they will. So if this happens, this will officially eliminate the Lions from playoff contention as the Seahawks take this one 23-20. As they're not in the playoffs yet, but if the Packers lose, that would put the Seahawks in the playoffs, as they would have the tiebreaker over the Lions. So if you're a Lions fan, you probably don't like seeing this. As passing, Geno had a solid day. Baker Mayfield had 1 pick, but that pick obviously had implications as they lost a close game. As rushing, no one really had a lot of rushing yards, As receiving, DK Metcalf, Kenneth Walker, and Tyler Higbee all had receiving touchdowns. As receiving, Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf went 100 yards or more. As Quan Treadwell had a decent game. I've never even heard of him. Alright, our next game is between the Giants and the Eagles. The Giants really don't have anything to play for, but the Eagles, on the other hand, who I think are going to win 20-17, have a first-round bye in a division to play for, because if they win this game, they will have clinched the NFC East and the first-round bye. So we'll see what happens here, as right now, the Eagles are up 21-14. Oh yeah, by the way, Jalen Hurts is not going to be playing in this game because he's still hurt. As right now, it's a tie game. The Giants have clawed their way back, but unfortunately for them, the Eagles will win this game 31-28 and clinch a first-round bye and the division, as Jalen Hurts is celebrating, but he's not playing. Oh, Madden, did you seriously put him in? Come on. Yeah, no. Gardner Minshew's playing in this game, not Jalen Hurts. So I don't know why. I don't know why Jalen Hurts is playing in this game. He shouldn't be. I mean, I guess if for some hypothetical reason he does play, this would be the result. I don't know. It's just Madden can't simply just update a roster and put Gardner Minshew in, who is supposed to be starting in this game, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what I'm supposed to do about that, but yeah, the Eagles clinched a first-round bye if this is what happens. Alright, our final 4 o'clock game of Sunday is between the Chargers and the Broncos, as I think the Chargers are going to win this game 27-21, as the Broncos have really nothing to play for, so they probably aren't going to be as motivated to win as the Chargers are, because the Chargers still have seeding to play for. If they can win some games, they could potentially get a better seed, as right now they're struggling in this game as the Broncos are up 27-6. Chargers do score a touchdown to make it a 14-point game, but unfortunately it was nowhere near enough, as the Broncos win this game 27-13. But I mean, they don't even have a first-round pick to spoil, so yeah, I guess this game really doesn't matter, because it won't even affect their picks because they don't have any. As passing, Russell Wilson actually had a good game, as Justin Herbert not so much. As rushing the ball, Austin Eckler led everyone with 50 rushing yards. No one had a rushing touchdown. As receiving, Eric Saubert, Gerald Everett, Montrell Washington, and Kendall Hinton had touchdowns. As receiving, Keenan Allen, Jerry Jeudy, Montrell Washington, and Cortland Sutton all led everyone receiving yards. Alright, our final game of the video and the season is between the Lions and the Packers, and I have the Packers winning this game 28-24. So this is a weird game because the Lions are not able to make the playoffs. So if they win this game, the Seahawks will make the playoffs. But if the Packers win this game, they would make the playoffs. The Packers would. As right now, the Packers just blew a 21-point lead, and the Lions are up 27-21. So instead of the Packers winning 27, so no, wait, never mind. I said that they would win 20-24, not 27-21. So the Lions win this game 27-21, and that spoils the Packers' chances of making the playoffs. So Seahawks fans are really happy about this. As rushing, A.J. Dillon had 2 rushing touchdowns. Jamal Williams had 1. As DeAndre Swift and Aaron Jones led everyone receiving rushing yards. As receiving yards, DeAndre Swift led everyone in receiving yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams behind him. But yeah, this will be the final episode of Sam vs. Madden, at least for the regular season. I'll probably do something for the playoffs. It just won't be these long of videos. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this series. Yeah, that's Sam vs. Madden. First regular season is underway. I'm still gonna do something for the playoffs. So be tuned for that if you want. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.